Alright, welcome back to another gun build in Modern Warfare. Today we're going to be going over the newly released assault rifle, the AN-94, which has been released on Season 5 by the time this video has been made. And today we're going to be going over the best DMR slash sniper build for the AN-94. Now, one thing to note for the AN-94, it has a special feature to it called the Hyperburst. Now it says, for the description here, cutting edge 5.45 by 39mm Russian assault rifle with a unique Hyperburst feature. The initial shot from each trigger pull fires a rapid 2-round burst before perceived recoil is felt, creating a tightly grouped cluster which increases damage potential. This mechanism is fed by a Canton magazine, and a reciprocating receiver helps keep control of the recoil. So what this means is that every time you fire this gun for the first 2 shots will be a burst fire. That doesn't mean that it's going to burst, it'll go shoot the 2 rounds and there's going to be a burst delay in firing. No, you're going to hardly ever notice it. It's like a rapid 2 rounds like going exactly at the same time. So that means that if you put this gun on single fire, it will fire out 2 rounds that do an incredible amount of bullet velocity, or like doubles the bullet velocity for this gun, or increases it by a pretty good amount, and it does a little bit more damage because of that velocity, so it's going to hit a little bit harder. So essentially, when you put this thing to single fire, you are making it to where it is incredibly deadly in long ranges. And I have tested this. It takes about 2 bursts in order to kill somebody. Technically 3 rounds, but it's going to, you're going to be shooting out 4 altogether to kill one guy unless you hit him in the head, and that will require 1 burst. So let's go ahead and get started. And again, I'm going to be going over that setup there, or that whole staff for this gun when we get into it. Go ahead and get started. Barrel, we're going to go to the middle one called the AN-94 Factory X 438mm. Now this will, because like every single big barrel will give you damage range, which is combo with bullet velocity, so you get even more bullet velocity for the already heightened 2 rounds that you get with increased recoil control. And also, I forgot to mention that the 2-round burst also makes it to where that you're able to fire off 2 rounds obviously without almost any recoil. Technically, you shoot out those 2 rounds and then the recoil starts getting, start affecting your gun after you have it on automatic fire. Of course, it won't do anything when you have it on single fire. Cons being aim down sight speed, because it's a lot bigger barrel on the end, so it will add a little bit of weight, and that will also affect the movement speed because a little bit heavier. And that's where we're going to be selecting for the barrel. Now for the ammunition, we're not going to need anything for the ammunition. The rounds are just fine how they are. Optic. Now usually I would go with the 4x flip hybrid because it just about has the same magnification as a sniper scope, which is a 4.4 times zoom for the sniper. This is obviously a 4 times zoom, so it just misses out on the 0.4 magnification, and it doesn't give sniper glint. And you can also switch between scopes, so if you want more of a close range kind of build and switch this sucker to automatic, you could definitely select that. So that is my go-to scope where I'm making like DMR builds and stuff, but it does have its own scope right here called a POS M3 or POS M3 thermal scope. Now this gives you a 3.25 times zoom, which is not as much as the 4 times obviously, and it's essentially a thermal scope with a night vision overlay, or a thermal overlay over the night vision. So when this is a lot different from any other filter for a thermal scope, because if you have the normal thermal hybrid, let's say that, or the normal thermal optic right here, this will have like a dark area, or like everything that doesn't really have that much of a heat signature will be like more or less like black or gray. And with people of course having a heat signature will be bright white, so it's very easy to pick it out. Now this one has a more or less like a blue or purplish kind of like cool area, and the people in the middle will be like a real bright red. So I don't know, it seems to be like a little bit better for your eyes, and it makes it to where that they glow really bright. So I'll switch off to this scope, but I'm going to go ahead and put on the 4 times scope for now, just for the get the most effective build. And it does look a bit odd on the rail of the gun. But from there, as you can see in perks though, I would want to mention like there's no burst mod that you can put onto this gun or select fire, because it already has it when you go over to single fire, so to speak. Underbarrel, now we can go with the bipod. It'll kind of give it the more sniper kind of look to it, but if you don't want to use that, then Merc foregrip's definitely good. I want to throw on the bipod just because it makes it look more or less like a sniper. And for this, now you could put on the monolithic suppressor to increase the sound suppression, or give you sound suppression and damage range. And for some odd reason, I went over this before in a different gun video, or gun build, that it does not list it, but it does have a 15% extra bullet velocity increase, which makes it really good for your 2-round burst. So it's essentially instant. Like right when you fire, you're going to be hitting someone like a good kilometer out. This thing is, if you put this thing on, it's going to be as accurate as a sniper rifle for rounds getting to someone. Or you could put on its own custom muzzle called the AN-94 Sonic Brake. So now for the description, it says cutting edge muzzle brake, mitigates hyperburst recoil without increasing the weapon's sound signature. So this means that you're able to put this on and it will cut down on the recoil to 2-round bursts severely, and increasing without increasing the weapon's sound signature, so it doesn't make the weapon get any louder, I guess. I think it's kind of like a suppressor, but it doesn't act as good as a suppressor. And from there, you can just probably throw on something else, like maybe frangible wounding or FMJ, so you can get that extra hit through a wall and kill someone, or make it to where, you know, your bullets hit a little bit harder. Probably get something that can increase your aiming stability, like the AN-94 Factory Heavy. Definitely a good one. So aiming stability helps out for to sway your gun, for like the barrel kind of moving left, right, up or down or whatever. So that'll make it to where that your reticle is always on point more. I'm just going to switch over to the green one because that just looks cooler. Now in a different gun build, I'll be going over the new SMG release as well. But today we're just going to be looking at the DMR build for the AN-94. Now this gun is definitely cool. I actually like this because it's taking a rifle essentially that shoots 545, which is a little bit smaller than 556, but not too much, and it makes it to where that it hits a lot harder with a lot more bullet velocity, and essentially get 2 shots in for 1 burst. So here is the rounds here. Now see, it doesn't seem like it's actually firing 2 rounds, but after I fire a second time, it drops them. Normally, if you put on single fire for an assault rifle, it's going to take about 4 shots roughly in single fire, like it normally does for the base, to kill someone. And that together would be 2 if it was firing in single fire. There you go, as you can see there. I'll even show you up on the store here. Yeah, you can also fire pretty quickly. And the burst delay is not bad. As you can see there was like 2 bullet holes there. I'll show it again if you haven't caught that. Oh, wrong one. Right there, 2 bullet holes, 2 bullet holes. So yeah, you are shooting a burst fire. Of course, you can switch it back over to automatic. And this gun already by default, it has almost no recoil. Like it's really controllable. And when you put the bipod to it and you like lay down or like crouch, you really get yourself pretty reasonable recoil. That's not that bad. Into there's that. And you can also see on the ammo count there, it fires off 2 rounds. Actually, I don't think it is a 1-shot headshot or 1 burst headshot. You would think it would be, since it takes 2 bursts in the body to kill someone. Guess not. Let's test this thing out. Shot that guy. Yeah, but definitely the burst fire is definitely good for this. And putting on that muzzle attachment for like this almost a suppressor while being a muzzle at the same time is a really good attachment to use for this. It cuts down on the recoil a pretty good amount, even though you don't really need to worry about too much because I mean you are shooting in a burst fire. I mean you can lead your targets pretty well with it. And again, this thing is instant. Like it's a sniper rifle kind of velocity right now, and an automatic gun for the first 2 shots anyway. I mean, it's still pretty freaking fast. What you could do is let me see. You can get rid of the muzzle if you want to. Put on the monolithic, so you can increase the the velocity a little bit more as well. You got yourself a really freaking fast round.
Enemy at the center.
Good. Just a point and click at that point. As you've seen there, I shot him twice in the head for the 1 burst.
Ready to deploy.
Sounds a bit odd too. So yeah, essentially that's it. If you want to have a little bit more recoil control, even though you really don't need it for a 2-round burst, definitely put on the monolithic. It does make your gun a little bit slower, or actually a lot slower, you know, for any other kind of muzzle brake here, or muzzle attachment. But it does increase your bullet velocity, so you do turn this thing into a really hard-hitting sniper rifle.
White phosphorus ready to burn.
And it has a whole lot of rounds. Like in ground war, this thing is a great DMR. Not ground war, well yeah, in ground war, but Warzone. It's a really great DMR because you get those 2 rounds off and that will snap armor. It's kind of like a better version of the CR56 AMAX, which is only, you know, chambered in a 10-round mag, or 7.62 M6 rounds, which are much bigger, yes, but it doesn't have the 2 burst function because it's only in semi-automatic, and the burst delay is a lot longer. Now, the question is, as you see there, that was 2 bursts. So no matter what, you're going to have yourself a 2 burst, unless maybe if you shoot him in the leg. Hold on, let me see. Yeah. So unless you're shooting him in the legs, then it's going to be a 3 burst in order to kill him. But anywhere else will be a 2 burst.
Better.
I want to try something here. Okay, stopping power rounds do work on it, so of course that makes it to where it's a 1-shot kill, or 2-shot kill technically. So yeah, there you go. For some reason, the game wants to be incredibly inconsistent. There you go. If you don't want to run the bipod, I mean the bipod does give you a incredible recoil control stat, but also makes it to where that you have to be crouched or prone in order to use it. But it also doesn't give you any cons, so it is a pretty good attachment to use for the underbarrel. And again, a 30 round magazine, that's enough
Enemy at the warehouse.
to get you several kills.
5 seconds.
Push.
3-1.
Alright, shoot, I forgot to show you. Yeah, so this video is kind of going on a little bit longer, just kind of like shooting on bots here. But this is what the thermal scope's going to look like if you decide to use this for your sniping. Now, a thermal scope is definitely good for sniping and such because it gives you a real good sight picture, I guess. But this is what, and that's kind of what it looks like there. This is a unique scope. It highlights people in bright red so you're able to see them, and it's like purple and blue. Of course, you know, you can go like full automatic and shoot people there. I also like the animation,
Enemy
so
at the
that's
warehouse.
essentially it. There's not a whole lot left of the gun build. It's just a DMR version of it to make it as long range as it can be, because that hyper burst, so if you're going to be doing a build like this. There we go.
Sentry gun ready to deploy. Enemy at the warehouse.
Alright, there we go. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Now, in the next one, I will be going over the new SMG, the ISO, or ISO. As soon as, you know, I actually figure out a really good build for it. Because the gun's pretty neat looking. It's kind of like the Vector's the little brother to it. Yeah, there you go. This one's a little bit more long-winded because I'm just kind of running around, let you guys see how the gun acts. Try to go on some good kill streaks with it. And hope to see you guys in the next one.